Thank you, Cecilia Lubanga, for that very exclusive story. Only here on Look Up TV. Moving on, the new government's student-based model of funding universities has received mixed reactions from different stakeholders in the country. According to the education analyst Jane Muthiga, the model will be much better if it's extended to public universities. Shadra Kareria now reports.
And unusually,
as Kenyans tries to understand the new university funding model, education stakeholders have continued adding weight into the heated debate.
Universities and TVETs will no longer receive, under the new funding model, block funding in form of grants based on differentiated unit costs. The government has resolved that university funding will henceforth be student-centered.
According to President William Ruto's pronouncement on Wednesday, the new funding method will only help needy students and not any other student as it used to be.
Students will be categorized according to 4 levels of need. Vulnerable, actually 3 levels: vulnerable, less vulnerable, and able.
According to the education analyst Jane Muthiga, the new model has both positive and negative angles depending on its implementation formula.
The negative impact is that if you are just basing the funding on the students, how about equipping these institutions? How about ensuring that they have got everything that they, prior to even an introduction of a faculty, they need basic funding to be able to do that. So are we going to now return to theory specifically, or university taking up courses that are a little bit easy and cheaper to implement rather than going to more capital intensive courses?
Jane recommends for the inclusion of the private universities in the new model, stating that they risk experiencing financial difficulties if they are left aside.
Vulnerable and very extremely needy being fully sponsored by the government, I believe it's just the same funding that the government was initially giving to the university as a grant or as a fund. Is the same money they are now going to pick to be able to give to the university, but as school fees, as fees. So they have categorized it as fees rather than a grant.
On the implementation of the new model, Jane recommends for the right measures to be put in place to ensure that needy students benefit.
Chief is supposed to understand the community as well. But I think they also need to put the nyumba kumi aspect of it, because maybe the chief may not understand fully, or maybe fully the community as per se. They need to go a little bit deeper to the nyumba kumi formula and get that village, the nyumba kumi person, who can be able to say, yes, for sure, this particular child is it's needy among us or is vulnerable among us.
Shadra Kareria, Look Up TV.
Thank you, Kareria, for an analysis on that story, just breaking down what the university funding is all about. Now to the corridors of justice. Preacher Ezekiel Odero of New Life Church has been